Hello. Today, I want to just get a little bit personal with you guys here on this live training, and I hope that's okay. If you guys are tuning in, just give me a wave in the chat. Let me know where you're coming in from. I want to share about something that happened in our family that I honestly didn't even think was possible a few years ago. But before we jump in, let me introduce myself to any of you that don't know me. I'm Dana Kay, board certified health and nutrition practitioner, and I specialize in working with families of kids with ADHD, helping them to naturally reduce those challenging ADHD symptoms. Hello, how are you from Denmark? Hi from Florida. Thank you for tuning in. Even though I am a board certified health and nutrition practitioner, I'm also a mum with a child with ADHD. And years ago, my son's ADHD dictated where our family went and what our family did. Hi from New Jersey. I am in Seattle, Washington. Look, with my son's ADHD, vacations or holidays, as I like to call them, they were things that we dreamed of. And we just watched other families do them, but we couldn't do them ourselves. And definitely not things that we, allowed our son with ADHD to go on with other families or friends because it was such a struggle with him. And I just want to ask you guys tuning in, just give me a yes in the comments if you can relate to those feelings, that feeling of like, oh, I just don't think we can go on a vacation with other families because I'm just worried about what my child will do. One of our biggest worries back then was how my son might respond to disruptions in his normal routine. Children with ADHD, they thrive on routine and structure, and going away on vacation can disrupt their daily schedules. And I used to worry about how my son would adjust to the changes in routine, in particular, in relation to his sleeping patterns. And back then, if his sleep was disrupted, we would literally feel it all day long the next day. There would be meltdowns, there would be extreme hyperactivity and difficulty, coping with any change in plans, no matter how small it might have felt to us. Definitely feel that way. Thank you for sharing. I get anxiety when we don't have a plan and routine. I totally feel you. I used to worry constantly about all of that and how these challenges would affect our entire family's daily life. Now, many children with ADHD are also sensitive to sensory stimuli, loud noises, crowds, bright lights. So this adds an additional element of the stress, to parents of kids with ADHD. And our son's sensitivity to sensory stimuli was always making us question how we would handle the overwhelming environments of travel. Those crowds, the bright lights, they could easily trigger meltdowns or sensory overload. But then I discovered a game changer. I learned how to naturally reduce my son's ADHD symptoms. And honestly, those worries are a thing of a past. It is possible for your child to thrive. Last summer, my son was invited to go on a trip for grade 8 graduation. He's now just graduated grade 9, so that's super exciting. But last year, he went across the country to celebrate the end of middle school, grade 8. And the memory of that trip popped up on my Facebook timeline just a few days ago, and it just brought back all of those feelings I had last year. But here's the deal. If you had asked me 10 years ago if I would allow my son to go on that trip, I would have told you there is absolutely no way, like not a chance, not with his ADHD symptoms being as bad as they were. But he's now doing so well. Back then, he was doing so well in grade 8 that we let him go, and he had the best time, no issues whatsoever. So I honestly just wanted to jump on here today and encourage you guys. If you're dreaming of the day when you can go on a family vacation, or like I did last year, send your teenage son away with schoolmates, and you're thinking to yourself, there's no way you'll ever get there, I want you to know things can improve. Okay. I have learned the secret to naturally reducing ADHD symptoms in my own son, but also in over 1,500 other families. 15 other 100 families who, like mine, are now able to enjoy family vacations. My kids break up from school today, and I know that summer vacations, are about to ramp up, for all the families out there. And the families that I've worked with, they don't worry about sending their kids off with schoolmates or friends, or they don't worry about going on vacation with their own child. If you want to get to a place where you can not worry about your child's behavior while you're away from home, I just want to share, first of all, a few things that you can start doing today to start reducing their ADHD symptoms naturally. So, here's the key that I think a lot of people don't realize. There is something that is driving those challenging ADHD symptoms, okay? You don't just have to accept the diagnosis. So if we can really get to the bottom of what is driving symptoms, you can begin to reduce them. And that's why I'm really excited to share with you today that the thing that is driving ADHD symptoms is, do you guys have any guesses? I can see that some people are on YouTube, some people are on Instagram, but the number one thing that's driving ADHD symptoms is inflammation. And research has shown that inflammation in the body can lead to ADHD-like symptoms, even in individuals who don't have ADHD as a condition. And for those that do have ADHD, inflammation can make symptoms worse. So reducing inflammation can be a massive factor in reducing ADHD symptoms. So you're probably wondering, how do we reduce inflammation in the body? And answering that question is the central focus of what I do with families and the work that I do. Parents can begin to reduce inflammation through a few different things. Firstly, it's diet, okay? We want to reduce the foods that are exacerbating it. Things like gluten and dairy, artificial flavors and artificial colors, and preservatives. And these are highly inflammatory substances, and they can lead to an immune response in the body and also damage the gut. You've probably heard me talk a lot about leaky gut and the gut-brain connection, but it's not all about changing diet. So I know a lot of people get a bit scared with picky eaters out there. And this is, what a lot of families miss. They come to me after changing the diet, and they're so frustrated because they thought that that would be enough. And listen, for a handful of kids, it can be enough. But for many children, you really need to identify additional underlying stresses in the body. So, that inflammation in the body, where is it coming from? It could be coming from the gut. So things like parasites, food sensitivities, bacterial overgrowth. We could have vitamin and mineral deficiencies, environmental toxins, things like that. These factors can all contribute to inflammation in the body and can lead to exacerbated ADHD symptoms. And so you really want to identify those through something called functional lab testing. And that will help target what is going on. So, reducing ADHD symptoms naturally is not just about what to take out, what to reduce in the body, but we also, once we've reduced the inflammation in the body, we want to renew the body, restore the body to bring it back to that optimum function. And we do that by diet, bringing in lots of goodness to feed the body, feed the gut, feed the brain. And then we want to bring in some ADHD specific supplements, things like probiotics, magnesium, fish oil. Now, I mentioned functional lab testing a minute ago, and I really like to base supplements specifically on what we see in those functional labs. I have found that families can waste a lot of money trying supplement after supplement and not really giving their unique child's body what it needs. I can tell you I probably spent over $180,000 on trying to get my son where he is today, and I don't want that for you. And so really targeting what the body needs through functional lab testing is the best way to go. We also want to focus on optimizing detoxification. No matter how hard we try, we can't avoid toxins in our life. They're just there, and our kids will get exposed to them on a daily basis. So it's important to optimize their detoxification pathways. What is the name of the labs? Can a pediatrician refer or a specialist? It's a really, really good question. So I use a number of different labs for kids with ADHD. There are a couple of base ones that I like to start with. I use a lab called Vibrant Wellness for most of my tests. They do something called an organic acid test. They do a wheat zoomer, ZOOMER. Have to spell it for you because of my accent. A food sensitivity panel. I also like their gut zoomer. And then I use another lab called DHA, and I use a cryptopyrrole supplement. I have done, cryptopyrrole test. I've done lots of training on functional lab testing. If you go onto my YouTube channel, ADHD Thrive Institute, you'll be able to like pull up lab testing videos that I've done on that where I go into detail. Now, I will tell you that most traditional pediatricians will not order these labs. The traditional medicine is really focused on diagnosing and giving a pill to help that diagnosis. And so they're not really designed or trained to get to the underlying hidden stresses in the body. So unfortunately, your traditional pediatrician will not be able to order them for you. I'm not sure exactly where you live. Oh, you're in Florida. Yep. So I work with families all across the US, and we just send the kits to your house. You send them back after you've taken the sample. So as I was talking about, we want to optimize detoxification pathways. There's various ways to do that, but a few good ways is eating plenty of fresh green food, drinking spring water. Our body's made up of so much water, so flushing out those toxins is perfect. We want to take detox baths and use special supplements or binders. So I know there's a lot going on this live. I wasn't actually expected to dive into all of the details, but I'm glad I am. I'm just sort of giving you that high level view of what it can look like to help your child with ADHD thrive. I want to say, perfect, awesome. I'll look more into your YouTube channel. Great. Let me know if you can't find it. You can send me a DM. That is totally fine. But one of the final things that we like to do is prioritize exercise and sleep, as they are both critical pieces of the puzzle for kids with ADHD. I just want to say, like, ADHD symptoms can be reduced. They can be managed. And when we do these things, we can go on those vacations. We can get to a place where what we thought our family would look like is possible. They are reality. And I want this for each of you guys listening in today. I actually have a free ADHD training that goes into this stuff in more detail. I'm going to be sharing that with you in a bit. So if you'd like that link, all you need to do is just comment training. Soren, I think that's your name. You can comment training, TRAINING, on this live. Or if you're watching the replay, you can comment on there too. And I will send you over the link to watch. Again, just drop the word training. Now, I also know that this can feel really overwhelming. Believe me, if anyone gets it, I get it. I actually did everything I'm teaching you today with my own son with ADHD years ago, and I did it completely on my own. It was so overwhelming, making changes, spending hours online trying to figure out which solution we were going to try next, fighting with my kids and my husband over all the changes we were making, wasting thousands and thousands of dollars, as I mentioned, over $180,000 on therapies, supplements, and new treatments that just didn't work. And it was really, really difficult. And it took me a lot of time, and time that I could have spent with my family. So yes, you can totally go it alone. That is not what I recommend. But I do hope that you have success, because all I want is for families out there not to, thrive. I want them to be able to thrive. I want their kids to be successful. And that ADHD training can give you a great starting point on knowing what to do first. But If you want to speed up the process, save yourself both the time and money, then I would definitely be honored to work with you to help you get there faster. And so we actually also offer a free ADHD Thrive breakthrough call, and we can really guide you through how to implement this with your family, set out a roadmap for your child, because every child is unique. So if you'd like to book a free call with me or my team and talk about how we can reduce your child's ADHD symptoms, the link to book that free call is in my bio, ADHD Thrive Institute, or you can actually, again, just comment call, CALL. I love this whole automation thing. You can just drop the word call right here, and I'll send you a link in your PMs, and you can schedule that for free. Here is what I have ADHD, and my son was diagnosed with autism. You are 100% correct and know what you're presenting. I'll keep watching. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Definitely. There is so much that you can do to help your child to thrive. I wish I could come to Europe. It would be amazing. I'll have to find a speaking gig in Europe so I can make it tax deductible. So, guys, as I said, you can just drop the word call or training right here on this live or on the replay. You know, my son is about to graduate grade 9. He is thriving in grade 9. I am yet to see if he's got straight A's this semester. He's got one more final today, and then we will know, but he has got every other subject A's. But for me, that does not matter. The most important thing is he's completely medication free and he's happy. And my family's happy. And like I said, I've also worked with over 1,500 other families, and many of them have similar stories. So remember, comment training to get my free ADHD training, or comment call to schedule that free call. But that is it for today, guys. Hope you have a wonderful week ahead, and I will see you the same time next week. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon.